Welcome back, crime sceners. I'm not going to take credit for this. This was emailed to me by a viewer, but I thought it was a very good theory, so I wanted to share it with everyone. So as we know, there are two conflicting stories in regard to Margo's phone calls on the day of Nanette Ellis's murder. Margo told the inquest that she had made approximately 6 phone calls to Nanette's house, starting from 5:15 p.m. and ending at 5:45 p.m. We have another person who says that Margo was at their house that day and would have been driving past in the vicinity of Nanette's house at the time Nanette was murdered. So which one is it? We don't know. Margo is deceased, so we won't get anything out of her, and the other person can't really prove it after all these years. With a case as old as this one, there's always mistaken memory that we need to take into account. So it's possible that the times were mixed up and maybe Margo was at this house earlier in the day and was home by 5:15 to start calling Nanette. We just don't know. But in this theory, we're going to pretend that we believe Margo's story. Something that has always bugged me about this version, though, is that Margo claims she tried to call Nanette to, and I quote, to see if the arrangements for going out were unchanged and to see if she was all right. Of course, if these calls did occur, we know why they went unanswered. But if she was calling to see if the arrangements were unchanged, why did she even bother getting ready to go out? These plans were apparently made on the Tuesday before, when all the women were at Nanette's house with the boys and their friends. If I arranged to go out with my friend on Friday night, from the Tuesday, and I was ringing to see if they were still on, 1, I wouldn't have waited until 5:15 to call when we were meeting up at 6:45, and 2, if my friend wasn't answering the phone, I'd be assuming she'd forgotten our plans and I seriously wouldn't waste the makeup. To me, there is nothing worse than getting ready to go out and having someone cancel. I mean, seriously, just cancel before I put on my face. But like I always say, most people are different than me and may have done it differently, so that's not really something to put too much thought into. But the thing that I think most people would put a lot of thought into is the fact that despite everything that had been going on with Nanette, including police escorts and weapons by the door, so let's face it, not your normal everyday troubles, despite all of this, she chose to ring 6 times, or at least 6 times is what she said. So she chose to ring at least 6 times, and when she received no answer, she did nothing. It's not even the fact that Nanette didn't answer the phone, it's also that neither of the boys did either. Knowing that Nanette wasn't supposed to be alone, the boys not answering either apparently didn't set off any alarm bells. Margo only lived 11 minutes away from Nanette. It was probably less in 1984 because that 11 minutes includes modern day traffic. Surely any friend would have started to get worried after ringing at least 6 times in half an hour and getting no answer. I think it says a lot too that she did ring so many times in such a short period. I probably would have jumped in my car after the 3rd ring. And if she couldn't drive for some reason, why not call police to do a welfare check? After everything that had been going on, I'm sure they would have been right on it. But she did nothing. And I know she was worried. How do I know she was worried? Because nobody rings 6 times in half an hour to see if plans are still the same. She was ringing because she thought something was wrong. Now, after the last video about her husband Brian, a viewer emailed me with a theory. What if Brian was on his way to Nanette's house and Margo was trying to ring her to warn her? I'm not saying Brian did it. Police could have checked his alibi. They could have ruled him out by DNA. But in the absence of any proof of this, we're going to look at it like he hasn't been ruled out. What if he left at 5:15 when Margo started ringing and she stopped ringing at 5:45 because he came home? 11 minutes to Nanette's house. He would have got there at 5:26. To arrive home by 5:45, he would have had to leave Nanette's house by 5:34. Could he have killed her in 8 minutes? I am terrible at predicting the time it takes to do something, but I think he could have killed her in less than 3. This is all assuming that Margo was telling the truth and that Brian hasn't been ruled out. But why didn't she go check on Nanette or call police? Or why didn't she keep calling? She stopped at 5:45 and it was another hour before Beth picked her up. So why not just keep calling? Was she a terrible friend or was she hiding a terrible secret? So what do you think of that theory? Let me know in the comments and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.